Hey, it's Alyssa Rushton here with the Get Clients with Speaking show and getclientswithspeaking.com. And on today's show, you're going to learn from a health coach who is crushing it. And you're going to learn how she uses speaking to fill her one-on-one group programs and live events through speaking. And on the show today, I'm really excited to introduce Mari Carmen Pizarro, owner of Streamlined Health and best-selling author of the book Gone in a Flash, your all-in-one guide to taking control of menopause symptoms and discovering the vibrant you that comes with confidence, maturity, and healthier living. Mari's also the creator of Body Love System, a nurturing method to deal with health-draining side effects of emotional eating and lack of self-love. Mari's dedicated to teaching women leaders how to feel continuously energized, look their best, and exude confidence that's inspirational to others. And I'm so excited for you because in today's interview, you're going to learn the secret to expand and grow your coaching business quickly without spending any money on marketing. And Mari's going to show you the number one strategy for building a super successful coaching business. Hint, it's speaking. And Mari will also share her strategy to get VIP clients, fill her group programs, and fill her live events. And she'll be sharing what happens when you overteach and wing your talks and what to do instead. And Mary's also sharing her top tips for being totally prepared and confident at your next talk. And lastly, you'll learn the number one thing to include in your talks that will get you out of struggle and into getting clients with your talks. So I'm so excited to have Mari Carmen Pizarro here on the show today. Welcome, Mari.
Thank you, Alisa, for having me. I am so excited to see you after so many years and to share this time with you.
Oh, thank you, Mari, so much for being here. You know, you and I met back at a conference a couple of years ago, and I was struck by your presence. You have such a commanding way of being with people that's really powerful. And I know that since we last met, you have really gone many, many places in your business. And you've gone from really 0 to 60 in a relatively quick time. So that's why I brought you here on the show today, because I wanted to share some of the powerful things you're doing in your health coaching business with our audience. So tell us a little bit about your business now. Tell us how you operate and what you do as a health coach.
So, wow, my business is so cool. I'm so excited because it makes me happy. I am the founder of Streamlined Health. And even the title, when I decided I want to streamline whatever it is you're doing. At that moment, I was transitioning to being a health coach. So I thought health. I have an online business and an in-person business right now, which, by the way, I'm changing to be all online so I can do what you do and move around the world. But basically what I do is I have concentrated my efforts in only 3 programs, and that really simplicity, streamline. Everything I do is very simple. I have my VIP long-term one-on-one coaching or group coaching. I have my 37-day Body Love Detox. And I have my 9-week Body Love Health Transformation System. So I have been able to really concentrate my efforts on transforming people's lives through nutrition, through empowerment, through exactly what Natalia did to me, through teaching this novel words, to teaching self-love, empowerment, goal setting, but all around really identifying why is it that you're here. It's never the weight loss. So once I discovered that myself, I was able to say, okay, this is what I have to offer. It's offered in 3 systems. And this is the best way for me to deliver my message because I wanted simplicity in my life also. The business is thriving. This year, I'm doing my first live event, like 3-day live event. So every year I do something bigger and scary, and but it's exciting.
That's fantastic, Mari. And you know, one of the things that I love that you said was that you are all about streamlining people's health. And you know, you've done that even in your business to the extent to which you have 3 programs that you focus on. And I find for coaches, this is a really powerful concept when you focus your efforts on a small amount of things. So, for example, you will have 3 programs only. It's interesting how much you can expand and grow, as opposed to the coaches that are out there developing this program and then abandoning it, and then developing this program and then abandoning it. And, they're always developing new things. That doesn't really work well for people. So I love that you just have these 3 things that you focus on. And then it sounds like you expand each and every year, like with your 3-day event.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yes, that's true. But let me tell you, when I still have those thoughts, or I see somebody doing something or a new certification, and I still have those thoughts of, oh, cool, let me just leave this. And I have to continuously remember, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? I also have to earn a living. And I know that concentrating my efforts in these programs, the programs get better every time I make tweaks to them. It's the only way. It's the same as in my corporate career. I had to bring what I learned all of those years of process improvement. You don't abandon a process, you improve it.
Yeah.
And but I still have those thoughts. I'm able to lower the volume and say, it's okay. We'll go there later, and keep perfectioning what I'm doing.
I love that, Mari, because it is what I call a business killer to just go after new programs and go after developing new things, because what happens is you never do improve it, right? So for you, with your 3-day event, tell us a little bit about your 3-day event. Like, what made you do that?
You know what? I've been blessed with coaches and mentors. With you being the first one, oh my God! Every time I think about it. But I was working actually with my coach, and he said, we're doing like my why. Why is it that I want to? And so many things came to mind. And he said, Mari, you want to create a community. You need to create a community. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I want a community. But we went really deep in the coaching of what would that mean for me and for my community. And that was 6 months ago. And that stayed in my mind. I'm like, why do I want to? Is this something that can I manage the simplicity of my life and have a community and lead and empower? Of course. So this 3-day event, so this year I'm doing everything that I'm doing and saying, it's leading up to that event, which is going to be, guess what? My program. My program is 3 days. It's the same thing again.
Exactly.
It's my program organized in a way that leaves space for other speakers and beautiful things to happen. And my intention really is to sell my community program there, to invite people to join a year-long journey. And I will try that for a year, see what happens. And guess what I'm going to do that year? The same programs, because health, it's like going to the gym, right? You can't go to the gym and not go when you get in shape, or a tune up to your car. You have to keep tuning your car up. So I'm going to give you all of those tune ups and the fitness training, a lot of that in a package in a year that is going to save you a lot of money. And it's going to give me the opportunity to experience, is this really something that I want, having a community and serving them a whole year, but doing the same 3 programs. Don't lose sight of that.
I love that. And honestly, Mari, that's probably one of the most powerful things that people are going to learn all day is focus your effort on a very few things. But in your case, your 3-day event is one of your programs just broken out in a very specific way. So you're not having to come up with new content. You're just repackaging it in a 3-day event. And then you're selling another one of your programs in a year-long, probably VIP format, I'm imagining.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
that's awesome.
And one thing that I learned also with this coach is not to be attached to the outcome. So yes, I have an idea of how many people do I want to see in the event, how many people do I want to serve for a year, and it's okay if I'm not attached to the outcome. I am going to have serious fun in this 3-day event.
Ah, I love that. I know you will. Well, Mari, you bring up a really good point about doing events and speaking. And I want to know, as a health coach, how important is speaking, or how important has speaking been to build your business, building your list, and attracting new clients?
So, as an entrepreneur, and I want to say these words with purpose, as an entrepreneur, the CEO of my own company, and a businesswoman that every health coach hopefully will want to be, because that's what we are, right? And because I want to be a leader of my field, I see every public speaking opportunity, everyone I have, whether it's formal, right, and that I can prepare for it, or it's just something that comes up. It's an opportunity to grow my leadership, to influence, because one of the reasons why I am a health coach, I want to influence people to change their behavior. So I want to do that through speaking. And also, so I grow my influence, I grow my leadership, and this is also a term that I was not using a year ago. I grow my career. This is my career, and I want it to be my career for a long time. I don't want to change it. So speaking is my number one strategy, hands down. It's my number one strategy. Think about what is it that we should do as entrepreneurs that, we're entrepreneurs that are dedicated to changing people's lives. And we do it through health and nutrition and wellness and fitness, all those wonderful things. So what do we need to do? We need to influence people to listen to us. We have a powerful message to share. And we have to inspire them to make changes. So if you want to do that, you need to become their leader, their coach, their mentor. And also, ideally, you will empower them to take action by themselves. Speaking has given me, and I know it will give you, the opportunity to do that in a very different, compare writing with speaking. Writing is powerful. I love to write. I have a book, I enjoyed it, but compare this with speaking. The passion, in my case, my accent that some people happen to like, that comes through. So much easier. You don't have to think that much. That's why I love speaking, and that's why it's it is my number one strategy when it comes to growing my business.
I love that, Mari. And we could all feel your passion, literally feel your passion come through. And that is one of the reasons why I too am in love with speaking as the number one way to build the business. And if I can just add on, what I see for many, many health coaches is, I think for you, it was a little bit different because I know when you quit your corporate job, you had a little bit of a cushion built up. So you maybe had some more dollars for marketing that you could play around with. But I know many coaches actually don't have a big marketing budget. And I love speaking because you don't have to have a marketing budget. You can just go out there and give some talks. And what I find, and I want to ask you this question and ask how this has worked for you. But what I see with most of the coaches that I work with is that one speaking gig leads to another and then to another. Yeah. And so will you tell us if that's been true for you and how have you seen that play out in your business?
Oh, that has been 150% true because there's somebody, so you're hopefully speaking to your ideal client, but up to just a few months ago, and I remember doing a testimonial on somebody's stage about this, I would speak anywhere. I can get very strategic and just go to places where my ideal client is. But last year, I'm building a business from scratch. I'm going to speak anywhere. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be one ideal client. There's going to be a person that is looking for speakers. There's going to be a combination of people there that are going to see your services from a different perspective. And almost always, not almost always, but let me see. If I put a number, probably 60 to 70% of the times that I speak, somebody comes to me and say, hey, I'm running this organization. Sometimes it's huge things. Can I share an example?
Yeah, I wish you would.
So the other day, this is only like 3 weeks ago. This is the biggest thing that has happened to me from speaking, and it has nothing to do with money. I go to this event, and this was impromptu. Actually, I was not prepared to speak, but goal setting and is something that I do very well. So this was a goal setting seminar, and there were some participants were struggling, and I took the mic and I said, "Can I share another way of looking at this? They were stuck. Another way of looking at this." And so this person, I thought I was a little bit intrusive. This person called me. The person that was running the event is a very prominent publicist here in Philadelphia, and she has a huge a spring conference, a spring women's conference in Philadelphia. 3 days later, she called me to be a keynote speaker. Like the speaker, she has 3 speakers in that event. I'm not selling anything, but oh my God. And I don't have to pay. Usually, sometimes when you speak, you have to pay. You'll see if you're going to speaking. This is total publicity. She's going to make already her event is everywhere, and I'm there with my soul goal system. That's something my soul goal system is a system that I integrate. It's part of my programs. We first develop, what are your soul goals? And I have a system, and it's just very short. And she's like, that's what I want you to teach. And then we're going to sell your body love system. We'll sell that. Don't worry, after the event. During the event, but in the breaks and all of that. That was huge. But things like that have happened a lot.
That's fantastic.
So it's momentum, right? You build momentum, and people know you speak. They're like, oh, she speaks.
I love that. I love that. And, I also love that you took an opportunity when you were at somebody else's event to kind of get up and help out. And that blossomed into something really beautiful and what sounds like a gorgeous opportunity for you. Love that.
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Can you tell us about a recent experience where you gave a talk, and as a result of that talk, you actually used it to help you fill either a private program or a group program, or maybe sell a book? Because I know you have a fantastic book. Can you tell about a recent experience about that?
Yeah, and a lot of the more organized speaking, or when I do my strategy for speaking, of course I am going to do a talk before my program begins, or I'm going to do a talk when I know I have space for strategy sessions, so I can get my VIP clients that way. And thank God, I already have like 3 big events where I'm speaking in 16 that I'm going to talk about my event. So every opportunity to speak, every time, I make sure that there's something coming. If there's nothing coming, I am going to invite them to a strategy session. So when I am prepared and ready to give them love, to give my client all my love, no expectations, every time I get clients. Every time I speak, 100% of the time, I get clients. Sometimes there's a lot of, depending on the price, depending on the need, depending on the audience. So recently I spoke at a big event, and one of the things that I love about speaking is that it makes me connect with myself first. So I have to organize my content. I don't wing it. I have to organize my content in my head and make sure it comes in a way where I am sharing with them something that they can take home, but at the same time, I am letting them know that there's more. And I can give you that if you work with me, or clients that work with me get more. And that's, I'm not sure if I'm answering the question. That's how I get clients through speaking. So now you know that I do use speaking to get clients, of course. And a specific time, yeah, of course. About 3 weeks ago, this is a speaking engagement that I was pursuing. I wanted to speak with, the first thing I do is identify if my ideal client is going to be there. And the beauty is that I have a talk that I can do in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or an hour and a half. So I use I have never had an hour and a half yet to speak. In my own event, I'll do that. But they gave me 20 minutes. So what I did, I prepared the talk. to make sure I gave them something to take home, like I said before. And with the intention, so I look at I have a year calendar with all of the big events that I have. So I looked at my calendar and I'm like, I can squeeze the 37-day detox right after that event, get them excited and squeeze it. I really had no idea if it was going to work. It was the most successful program ever. I just couldn't believe it. After I finished I think it had to do a lot with the preparation and the anticipation. So when your audience is connecting with you, inspired and empowered, and by the way, I tell them, yeah, there's more if you work with me, but you can implement these things tomorrow. You don't have to work with me. There's 3 things that you can implement tomorrow, and I empower them that way. When I finished the talk in 20 minutes, I had a line of people waiting to talk to me. Not everybody enrolled, but I had, out of that talk, about 10 people. This is a $997. It's my lowest, my entry-level program is $997. So you do the math, and it was a lot of fun and a few hours driving to the place and coming back. And I almost didn't do any advertisement to put more people in the program. I was happy with that. And another thing that I do, that leads me to something that was very powerful when I did that program in the forum. These people knew each other. So there's some collective something that happens when people want to talk to me, and then the other person, oh, you're going to do it. Then if you do it, I'll do it. And wait, what are you guys doing there? Let me go. And there I am receiving all of this love. And that was very cool, that targeting my speaking to specific groups, inviting them as a group to my program is very powerful when I do the program. Because then I have a private forum, and that's why I want the community. There's something about them sharing their challenges and their wins with each other that I cannot give them. And I get that from speaking.
Love that, Mari. And I love how you easily used an event, and you prepared your material, and you sold your program. And one of the things I think I'm hearing you saying is that when you do a talk, you go into it with something really specific in mind. So in this example, you sold your 37-day 37-day cleanse or program, and it sounds like you probably netted around $10,000 for that speaking event, which is fantastic and so easy to do, by the way. So thank you so much for sharing that, because that is something that is doable for so many people. But what really I want you to hear right now, for those of you who are listening to this, is that when you do a speaking event, having something in mind to invite people into, sure, like you said, Mara, giving them actionable tips that they can go and implement today. But for those of them who do want to go further, who want to go deeper, really can do that with you. And it's really motivating and empowering for people, by the way, when you put it to them that way. But you always have that specific thing in mind that you're going to invite people into is very powerful way to boost your income and build your business. Thank you so much for sharing that juiciness.
Thank you.
So I'm really curious here. What's the biggest lesson that you've learned about giving talks? Because I know that you've given a lot of talks in your business building time. So what's one of the absolute biggest lessons that you've learned that you'd love to share today?
There's a few, but the most important one is, I have a lot of content in my head. I'm sure that I could go now to a place and do a talk, now I'm cheating because I've done talks before. But at that time when I started, I knew I could talk about the digestive system for hours. And so, one time I winged it. I decided that it was good enough. I had enough content in my head to share. And I did, and they were impressed and everything, and that's it. There was nothing that they could implement. So my biggest lesson, I did that once, and I knew what was wrong when I ended. I'm like, okay, I gave them a lot of information. They're really impressed, but nothing else happened. So do not wing it. do not. If you have the opportunity to prepare your talk. And then I started preparing my talks, but I really didn't practice a lot because I had a lot of confidence. So holy shit, when I realized that, somebody told me just practice 3 times. This was a very important event not long ago. And he said, practice 3 times. I'm like, it was late. So I practiced standing up 3 times, my talk. And oh my God, super lesson learned. When I gave that talk, so I get in front of this group of, it was actually an executive event, a group of executives to talk about coffee and sugar robbing their energy, and they're there with their big Starbucks, and I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna throw rocks at me. And I'm there with my papers like this, just to make sure, I don't miss anything. I was there, I put my papers down, and I rocked it. I practiced 3 times. I organized my content. I didn't wing it. I really knew when to seed. So that's a new concept for me too. If you've never done marketing, you need to know when to say, when clients work closely with me, or even using stories, which is so powerful. When you use a story, it's wonderful to use a story of somebody you helped, because unconsciously you're giving them. So applying all of these nuggets that I've learned into this talk and doing the practice. So don't wing it. Organize your content. Make sure they know you do this for a living. Make sure they know you work with people on their successes, and share that. And last, practice 3 times. It does work. It works like magic. It really worked like magic.
Mari, I love these 3 points, and I definitely agree with the practicing. I invite everyone to practice at least 3 times. It makes you so much more polished and professional. And quite frankly, I believe that one of the biggest barriers, there's 4 barriers between you and your audience, and I don't have time to get into all of them. But one of the biggest barriers is between you personally and your audience. And when you're up in your head trying to remember what you're going to say next, you increase that barrier. So when you are practiced and polished, you remove that barrier and you can connect with your audience in a really powerful way. So thank you so much for sharing that tip. And I love the organizing the content part. I think that's so important because it lets you practice. So for me, at the end of the day, the most powerful thing, though, that you had was seeding your work. One of the things that I find health coaches and coaches in general are not doing, that are in struggle. And so if you change one thing, you're going to start to seed that you work with people, and you're going to start to seed client success stories in your talks, because, we often get in our head and we think, oh, that means I'm selling and blah. There's like this whole story that we have. But I know, Mari, you know this. For those of you watching, though, when you actually share a client experience, all of the sudden what's happening in your audience's mind is they're able to put themselves in those shoes. For example, like I can give you a concept all day long, but when Mari, you said I practiced my talk 3 times and then I was up on stage and I didn't need my notes. That's a solid example, and that grounds people in. So the more you can give actual client examples, it will help to ground your audience into being able to see that for themselves, which makes them want to work with you. So I love that. Practice, organize your content, seed, and know when the right times to seed are. I love that, Mari. Mwah! Genius, I swear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's your best advice for those people right now who are watching this video and really want to use speaking to build their business? What's your best advice for them?
It's funny because I'm still thinking about something you said about selling. And my best, first of all, treat your health coaching business as a real business, for God's sakes, please. This is a business. You have expenses, and you have to pay yourself per hour, and you have to have your specific goals and what you want to accomplish, and you have to get paid. And the only way you get paid, I promise you, is selling. Whether you're selling your speaking, your services, your programs, whatever it is, there has to be an exchange. And a lot of people, a lot of peers of mine, they get, oh, I don't want to sell. It's semantics. Forget selling, use sharing, use another word. And I understand the power of words. And selling sounds like, the car dealership person. So speaking, going back to my advice, must be one of the strategies that you're going to have to share your services with others so that you can get compensated, so you can pay the rent and you can continue to speak and inspire and lead and move people forward when they want to make changes in their health and they don't know who to go to. That's something that I wanted to add. And but another thing about speaking, it's that not only builds your business, even before you start speaking. By the way, speaking has been key to build my business. I think I said that before. Speaking helps you know yourself. To be able to inspire others, you have to first connect with yourself. And when you are in tune with the real you, and I want to use, there's so many words that we use that everybody uses. It's almost like, you. The one that is going to attract the right client, not the one that wants to attract every client. The one that is going to connect with the one that has the same energy that connects with you. When you do that, and no one really has to sell. You're sharing your knowledge, you're inspiring, and believe me, they take action. And it is, think about it this way. One coach once told me, I was saying, and I think I was saying this because somebody said it and I thought it sounded cool. I said, I just don't want to sell. I hate selling. That's the biggest BS. It's just words, and I said them. And she said, so you're going to do a talk. You feel that sharing what you do and taking money in exchange is selling, then fine. So think about this service. You're doing your client or potential client a disservice if you're not offering what you have to offer. And the way you do it, and you take money and they get the service. It's an interchange of energy, if you want to put it that way. And when you are on stage or even on a webinar or even here, people want to follow you when you allow you to come out and get all of those words out of your head that are just interrupting your process.
Awesome, Mari. Such a pleasure to talk with you today. So many golden nuggets. I wish we could just go on and on for hours, but alas, our time has come to an end. Thank you for being here with me today and sharing this time. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. This was the gift of this month, being here with you.
Thanks, love.
Mwah.
Mwah.